Hi, today we'll be discussing the customs duty. Yes, the customs duty. The customs duty is what an importer pays to the government as a revenue for every shipment imported into a country. For example, if you are importing any shipment from China to Nigeria, from China to Australia, from Australia to China, or from Nigeria to China, all this movement, each country that receives any shipment from one country to the other pays what we call the customs duty. And the customs duty have basic items which is applicable to every part of the world, and also there are differences when it comes to their agencies and VAT. One of the most important things that has the same process in every country, number one, is the shipment description. Yes, the description of the shipment determines what the custom duty will be. Also, the freight cost. The freight cost also determines what the custom duty will be. Also is the shipment value. The value of the shipment also determines what the customs duty will be. And the HS code. HS code also determines the percentage of which the customs duty will be. Another important thing is the quantity. The quantity of the shipment also determines what the customs duty will be. Apart from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mentioned now, which is the description, the freight, the shipment value, the HS code, and the quantity. These are the same in every part of the world. But when it comes to other government agencies and the port, those agencies differs in every country. Every country has their own differences in agencies that operates at the port and obtains payment from every shipment. These are considered other little charges added in the customs duty to make up a total amount of customs duty. But these particular 5 names I mentioned initially are the most important things to consider that makes up the almost 98% of the value of what the duty the shipment will pay. So before you make any shipment, or before you have any conversation with any shipper, or before you place that order, make sure you have the description of your item, the freight cost, what it will cost you freight, the shipment, the value, the quantity of the shipment, and the HS code. If you know all this information, it will give you a guide of what the cost of your customs duty will be, and that information is very key in any importation because it will make you plan yourself financially and be ready for your shipment so that as soon as your shipment arrives to your country of destination, it is easier for you to clear it at the port because you already have an information of what the cost of the shipment is. Come to Metoric Logistics. We will guide you on the shipment description, we'll guide you on the freight, we will help you get freight charges with all the shipping companies and get a good deal on the freight charges, and also advise you on the correct HS code to use in your shipment. With these informations, I will guarantee you that other experiences you have had before concerning maybe paying excess in your shipment or having delays at the port. With these informations that Metoric Logistics will provide you, you will have a hustle free from every shipment you do. Before we go further, I want to explain what custom examination means. Custom examinations actually means when the shipment you import into the country to any part of the world is being examined by customs. These examinations are done by customs to be sure that the documents the importer submitted and the actual shipment is the same. There are two types of customs examination. There are physical examination and there is scanning examination. The scanning examination is done by an X-ray machine which is powered by high level of information, AI powered information, which helps the X-ray machine to determine the documents that have been loaded on the machine is the same thing with the container is about to scan. So how the process works, the documents, the customs will upload all those documents into the X-ray system and let the X-ray system now examine the container by scanning to make sure that the documents that have been uploaded into the system is the same thing with the container that is scanning. So this scanning machine do a diligent one by one scanning of all the items in the container to make sure that they are the same thing with what is on the documents. Let's say, for example, that someone imported freezer, imported fridges, and also imported some televisions. And all these are brand new. What the scanning machine has information is the scanning machine has these details about what the freezer looks like, what the television looks like, and what does a fridge looks like. Their sizes, their shapes, their CBM. All this information is already in the X-ray machine, and the X-ray machine uses all these details to monitor and check the shape, size of the item in the container. So these sensitive informations are gathered from the information already in the documents. So let's explain that again. The documents is uploaded in the system. The X-ray machine compares the documents in the system with the actual shipment in the container. So what it means that if there is any mistake in the documents and the scanning is going ahead and the system observes any discrepancy between the documents and the container, it will flag it as a red flag. And when such things happens, the container will be flagged for physical examination. So if you are bringing any items in, make sure that you are aware that if this thing falls into scanning and the scanning machine scans your container and finds out that the documents in the system is not the same with the actual shipment, if there's any discrepancy, the scanning machine will flag it as a red flag. Sometimes all red flags are not the same because sometimes the machine might have a code that doesn't tally with what it sees. It will put it as a red flag. But when physical examination is done, all those differences will be reconciled. But also on the other note, there are some examinations that will be done and it raises a red flag and they do a physical examination, they will find out a lot of discrepancies. Now, the second one is the physical examination. The physical examination is whereby the containers are dropped and the custom officers opens the container and do a partial offload of the items in the container. If the custom officer who is in charge to do the examination, they already have a documents which they are coming to for the examination, and they are comparing the documents they have and the physical items they are seeing in the container. If the custom person is satisfied with the information they have seen in the partial offloading of the container, they will say, okay, I believe that the information we have seen already tallies with the documents we have. But if at the process of the examination and the custom finds out that the items in the shipment are not the same with what is in the document, they will request for a full offload of the container. The reason why these things will be requested is for them to be sure what are the items that are in the container and not in the documents, or what are the items in the documents that is not in the container. So this will help to identify those discrepancies and resolve it. On another class, I'm going to be explaining what is the aftermath if your container contains any items that is not in the documents. If any items in the container is not in the documents, the customs will refer that particular shipment to the evaluation department of the customs services. That evaluation department will now evaluate what items that are mentioned in the container that is not in the documents. They will now update their system with those items that are not mentioned in the documents, and then issue the importer what they call a DN, which is a debit note for you to pay the extra charges. Because what it means that those items are in the container that were not mentioned in the documents were not paid for in the custom duty. So those items will be listed out and they will evaluate what the prices are and then now issue the importer a DN, which is a debit note, to go and pay the differences. So next time we're going to be talking about, after that DN has been issued and the customer has paid the duty, what next is the customer going to do in order to make sure that such things doesn't happen again. In Metoric Logistics, we will make sure we give the importer the guideline to understand that the documents you submit and the shipments you are bringing in must be the same thing in order to avoid this kind of discrepancies. And also know it that once the discrepancies happen, the customer will have their shipment delayed and they will pay extra terminal and shipping demurrage, which is entirely not budgeted for. So whenever you are making any shipment, you make sure that all the shipments you are bringing tallies the same with the documents you are submitting. Thank you.